Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Daincast. This time we have another game from a good friend of the channel, Bread So Sneezy, also known as BreaDy. He is playing the blue Protoss in the bottom right-hand corner of Triton LE. Throwback to Triton, and his opponent is Jimmy. Jimmy! He is the red Terran in the top left-hand corner. This is going to be a lovely TVP between these two players. I have to see who comes out on top. I love this matchup. There's so much potential for aggression. So many opportunities for Terrans to do drops, to do multitasking, to do tank pushes, to do banshees. There's so many cool things the Terran can do. And then Protoss can do big blink stalker plays into the main base of the Terran. He can do charge lots. He can do warp prism harass. There is so many cool things that can happen in this game. But it is a very volatile matchup as well. A few Widow Mines going off in your mineral line, and the game could be over in a heartbeat. So you have to be on your toes the whole time, which personally I think is a great way for StarCraft to be. I like that it is an intense game between the people. I like that it doesn't encourage you to just hide in your base and build up a big army and move a death ball into the death ball of your opponent. I like that there's multiple attacks happening all over the place, especially in this matchup. There's lots of incentives for players to spread themselves thin and to attack each other all over the place. And there's even potential for aggression in the early games, such as sending a probe to harass these SCVs to force one off the mineral line. This is going to be a little bit annoying for Jimmy, as BreaDy's getting some scouting information, and he's also forcing these SCVs to chase him around, which is wasted mining time, which gets back some of the mining time. BreaDy is investing into having this scout happen, which he kind of has to invest one way or the other. So nice little play from BreaDy, keeping that probe alive, being annoying, generally just forcing Jimmy to be annoyed with him, maybe go on the forums and complain about how overpowered Protoss is. We'll have to see if the probe harasses enough to do that. Jimmy, though, realizing he needs to go for infantry, he needs to kill this Protoss fast, he's building a second barracks. He's making his Reaper. He's going to try and hunt this probe down. Doesn't know where it is, doesn't have an SCV following it, but he's got game sense. He's got the spidey senses. They are tingling, and he is aware that this is where the probe likes to hide. But is he going to find him? He's just about there to find him, but this probe is just too sneaky. Like a ninja. Well, one of the most obnoxious and loud ninjas in the world. He's going to just start a construction site right beside him. He's not worried about being a ninja anymore. Now he knows that the Reaper's gone. He's going to be building this pylon. Don't know if he's going to go for a warp in, maybe he'll go for DTs, or maybe he just wants the vision here. Either way, I'm excited to see what BreaDy's plan is for this game. Jimmy's going for now. It looks like it's going to be a 2-1-1. This is kind of looking like a 2-1-1, where you get two barracks, you get a factory, you get a starport. You can make a tech lab on this one, you get stim, you get two medevacs, and you go with two full medevacs with stim, drop in the Protoss's base and blast through his probes. It's not the greatest build in the world against Protoss. In my experience, it can go really, really wrong really, really quickly, as the Protoss is already looking for drops that early. He's looking for that Widowmine drop, even if he doesn't scout your 2-1-1. And if the Stalkers are in position, it can be very difficult for these Marines to do damage. But in the hands of a skilled Terran, you never know what they are capable of with a drop like that. They might be a little bit of multitasking. But look at this, BreaDy being a very cheeky boy, going for a proxy nexus and a Stargate in the top right-hand corner of the map. This is going to make him a little bit vulnerable. He's investing a lot of minerals into this. He's only on one gateway here, so he does have an opportunity where the opponent could punish him for this, but I don't know if this build hits fast enough for this to get punished. It is a very early nexus for him, but not the end of the world. He's adding a double Stargate here. Not really sure what he's going to do with this. Probably carriers, as he's going for a very fast air weapons upgrade on his cybernetics core. Nice use of the cybernetics core building. I don't know if he's even going to bother building any gateway units in this game. He is shading the adept in, but it's going to go down before it gets really much of any kills, or really even much of a scout. He doesn't really see anything. What does BreaDy see at this moment? He sees a reactor barracks, he sees a bunker, and two supply depots at the front. That's really all he's going to see here, and that's all the information he needs to continue on with the carrier plan. Either carrier or Tempest. I'm going to put my money on carriers, because Tempests are probably not the most useful thing. I mean, they could be annoying. You know, you can put them here. If you can get them back here, they could be really annoying. For now, it looks like it's going to be a Void Ray. Or two. I don't know. He doesn't really have the gas for it. He could be starting to mine gas from this one as well. He's just going to be gas starved here, because he's completely foregoing the gateway units. He's instead, I don't even know if he's got warp gate. No, he doesn't even have warp gate. He's literally just going pure air sky toss. Someone described this build to him. They said, right, you know what you should do? You should go Skytops. I'm like, what's Skytops? He's like, well, you make Stargates and you make a lot of air units. And BreaDy's like, I know how to do that. I'll go right and do that. I saw Florencio do this. I'm gonna make 2 Void Rays in the corner. And any other steps to the build, you don't need to know about those. You make 2 Stalkers. That'll keep you safe from the Terran aggression. You don't need gateways. You don't need Warp Gate. You don't need anything else. You just need Void Rays. He does have a Fleet Beacon and a 2nd Cybernetics Core, which makes me think that he will probably be adding something a little bit more substantial than the Void Rays. Just keeping his Stargates building is the Void Ray. So now he's going to start his carrier. Probably he's going to start his air armor as well. And does he have enough? Oh, he's even started his +2 air weapons. This is going to be really scary, actually. For those of you who don't know, carriers scale exceptionally well with air upgrades, with weapon upgrades, because weapon upgrades give +1 to each attack that a unit does. Now, a carrier doesn't attack, but it does have a bunch of interceptors, little flying spaceship dudes that fly out, and all of them do an attack. So when you get +1 air weapons, they all benefit from the +1 air attack. Every single one of them. And so they have, if they've got 4 of them, they get +4, right? I think they all attack twice as well, so they scale insanely well. But likewise, they also scale really poorly against armor upgrades from the opponent, because if they're attacking twice, they get if they're attacking every time they get attacked, every time they attack, they get -1 damage on their attack. So that can be really, really bad for them. But I probably should talk about the actual actions of the Terran in this game, which he's gone for a little bit of harassment, has killed 7 workers with this Widowmine drop. Pretty standard stuff for the Terran, honestly. It's definitely annoying to deal with. It's especially annoying to deal with if you only have 2 Stalkers, no Warp Gate. But he has +2 finish, and he doesn't really care about this base, to be honest. He's just making these carriers. He's going to do a big +2, +1 air attack with multiple carriers on the Terran's base. This Terran has absolutely no idea about this. He doesn't have upgrades of his own. He does have this +1/+1 on the way, but he'll probably only have +1 armor by the time he attacks. So he's going to be a little bit of a disadvantage against the +2 carriers, which is going to lead to a good situation. The Liberator flies into the natural. He's getting quite a few kills here. BreaDy a little bit late to respond here. Does lose quite a few probes here. He's lost up to 16 probes in this game, and he's pulling his Stalkers back. The only probes that are going to survive are going to be the ones that had the fortune of living on the other side of the country. So these probes on this side of the minerals are going to survive, but only by sheer luck. Nothing gets pulled. They all do die. This Liberator getting many, many kills, going up to 19 kills of workers in this game. The Widow Mines being dropped. Nice little multi-prong attack from Jimmy. His Widow Mines are going to be harassing this main base of the Protoss player. A few of them do go off, but with some nice splits from BreaDy, he is going to be able to not take too much damage. Does get 2 Widow Mines killed, but a lot of mining time lost. But the thing kept keeping him in this game, even though there was a lot of damage, is the fact that he's got a lot of carriers, which are difficult to deal with. There's no counter yet for the Terran player. He does have a starport with a reactor, but it's only making medevacs. And he's got many, many barracks. Oh, probably too many barracks for 2 bases, to be honest, but it's going to be a big 2-base all-in for him. This is going to be pretty scary to deal with for BreaDy, but he has taken yet another proxy base. I think he might just sacrifice this base, to be honest with you. I don't think there's really anything he can do to defend against this. There's a massive force of Terran. This guy has been watching the macro guides from Vibe. He knows that he needs to focus on his macro, and it has paid off for him. He is on 74 army supply to the 62 of his opponent, but the 62 in his opponent has better upgrades, and it flies. So this could be a really awkward situation for both of these players. I'm not really sure how this is going to play out. Looks like Jimmy is deciding now is his time to go. I like this from Jimmy. Nice aggressive play. Goes right into the natural of BreaDy. Does kill absolutely everything at the natural. Blast this down in the blink of an eye. He's going to walk right into the main base. He realizes there is no resistance. It's time to go for the kill. Kills the pylon, and now he's going to go for this base as well. And this is when Jimmy's spidey senses should be tingling. Once again, there is nothing here. What is going on in the Protoss base? There has to be something else happening here. Like, what is going on? Where is your army, dude? And this is going to be the moment when Jimmy knew he fucked up. Because now there is an armada of units coming after you just when you think you won. This is like the Act 3 of the movie, where the scrappy the Dominion forces. You think of overwhelmed, you think they won, you think the bad guys have won, but then the good guys come in with a Deus Ex carrier. They're going to completely overwhelm this army, and the army from Terran is looking to be mobilizing and finish off this Cybernetics Corps, potentially find this base. I think he knows where it has to be, so he's going to march on the Protoss base, but I don't know if he's going to be able to kill the Protoss base before he loses everything of his own. There's not really anything left back at, I'm going to call this home now. This is the new home. This is the Hoth, this is the ice base for the rebels here, and I'm not really sure what Jimmy can do in order to defeat this army. I don't think his army would win against this unless he gets right underneath it, but it's going to be tricky for BreaDy as well, as Jimmy is taking bases across the map. Looks like it is going to be some semblance of a base race here, and BreaDy is splitting his army out. He needs to consolidate everything. He doesn't want to lose everything for free. He is building another Nexus at the third base of the Terran player, but now all the SCVs are going down, and there's really not much of an economy left for either player here. Once these Marines and Marauders get into the main base now of BreaDy, everything's going to go down. He's even going to get this Stargate that's building a carrier. So this is probably going to be the only army that we see from BreaDy for a long time. He is stuck now on one mining base to the 0 mining bases of his opponent, but neither player has really any production to speak of. These barracks trying to frantically to build things, but there's just not enough supply depots anymore. He's got too much army. He needs some of this army to die in order for him to win. But BreaDy is a sneaky and a slippery boy. He is building stuff all over the place. He's got these pylons in the corner, which Jimmy does know about, but Jimmy is having a little bit of a trouble here, trying to figure out what to do. He is finally going to get an engagement here. The two armies are going to meet. This army stims underneath the carriers. There is so much damage here, though. They don't have the upgrades they would like, and now all of the Marines are dead. There's no anti-air from the Terran player. Now the Protoss can just successfully move across the map with no fear of reprisal, and it's a victory for BreaDy.